The microphone screeched like a dying cat. 200 pairs of eyes turned toward the stage where Victoria Pinnacle stood in her designer blazer, looking like she owned the world, which she basically did. I knew what was coming before she opened her mouth. 18 years of corporate meetings teach you to spot an execution from a mile away. James Crawford, her voice boomed through the speakers. Each word had this weird satisfaction to it, like she'd been practicing. Your services are no longer required at Pinnacle Technologies. That's me, James Crawford, 48 years old. Just watch my career get shot in the head in front of 200 people. The words just hung there. Nobody knew what to say. I felt every single stare shift to me. Some looked shocked, others felt sorry for me. Most were just confused as hell. My work boots clicked on that polished floor as I stood up. Kept my cool like I learned in 6 years, Army and 18 years of this corporate game. Victoria's smirk got wider watching me stand. Daughter of Charles Pinnacle. Never built a damn thing in her life, but she sure knew how to tear things down. Her perfectly manicured fingers tapped the podium like she was playing piano. Effective immediately, she added, really enjoying herself now. That's when the whispers started, rippling through the crowd like someone dropped a rock in a pond. They knew who I was. The guy who showed up before sunrise and left after the cleaning crew went home. The guy whose code built everything this company became. But Victoria didn't give a crap about any of that. She cared about corner offices and expense accounts, about having her name on the company directory without earning squat. That fancy Wharton MBA didn't teach her that some things can't just be inherited. I started walking toward those glass doors. My reflection bounced off every shiny surface in the place. The Pinnacle logo hanging above our heads felt like it was mocking me with every step. 18 years. That's what I gave this place. Takes me back to when it all started. Before the glass walls and marble everything. Before this fancy 200-seat theater with its wall of monitors. Back when Pinnacle was 25 guys in a warehouse that smelled like burnt coffee and big dreams. I can still remember my fingers cramping from those endless nights writing code. We had these beat-up second-hand desks that wobbled every time you typed too fast. Other guys were out pitching to investors while I was building the guts that held everything together. Line by line, function by function, creating something real from absolutely nothing. They called me obsessive back then. Hell, maybe I was. But that's what it took to build something that could handle millions of transactions without breaking down. Something that actually worked. Something that was mine. My phone buzzed. Text from Sophia. Dad, kids at school are saying weird stuff about Pinnacle on social media. Everything okay? Sophia's my daughter. She's 16, looking at colleges and those tuition. Bills keep me awake at night. Been that way since Linda died 3 years ago. Cancer took her, and the medical bills nearly took everything else. But Pinnacle needed me, and I needed the paycheck. So I stayed. Kept building. Kept sacrificing. Victoria had come to me about 6 months back, all smiles and fake charm. Wanted access to the core systems, admin privileges, basically the keys to everything I'd built. Come on, James, she'd said, leaning against my office door like she already owned it, which her family did. I need to understand how everything works if I'm going to modernize this place. Bring us into the 21st century. System has security protocols for a reason, I told her without looking up from my screen. Some doors are supposed to stay locked. Her smile went cold for just a second. I caught a glimpse of something ugly underneath before she put the mask back on. We'll see about that, won't we? Now, I guess we were seeing. First error message popped up on the monitors, maybe 30 seconds after I hit those doors. Just a tiny red flag and an ocean of green status lights. Most people wouldn't even notice something like that. But Tony Sullivan did. He's our transaction monitoring guy. Been here about 8 years. Good guy, knows his stuff. I could see the sweat starting on Tony's forehead as his fingers flew across the keyboard. More red flags started blooming everywhere. Payment processing, data retrieval, user authentication. Everything was starting to stutter and choke. Minor hiccup, Victoria announced from the stage, waving her hand like she was swatting a fly. Just restart the system. Tony's voice cracked when he answered. Ma'am, maybe we should check this out first. These errors, they're not random. They're cascading through very specific pathways. I said, restart it. Victoria's confidence hadn't cracked yet. Why would it? She'd never actually had to fix anything in her entire life. The monitors went dark. All 200 employees held their breath. Even the air conditioning seemed to pause. Then the screens came blazing back up. 3 words in blood red across every single display. Primary key missing. Dead silence. You could hear Victoria's designer shoes shifting on the stage. Could hear Tony's fingers hovering over his keyboard, afraid to type another command. What does that mean? Victoria's voice had lost all its boom. Now she just sounded like a scared woman trying not to show it. Means, Tony said real slow, the system doesn't recognize any administrator. We're completely locked out. All hell broke loose. 200 voices talking at once. Phones started buzzing like angry wasps. Executives grabbing their devices left and right. Faces going white as client calls started flooding in. Our biggest contracts couldn't process. Millions of dollars just sitting there, frozen in digital limbo. I stood by those doors watching the whole thing unfold. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. Then we heard the footsteps, heavy ones echoing down the corridor like a death march. Charles Pinnacle doesn't walk into rooms. He takes them over. The doors burst open and there he was. Gray hair perfectly swept back even in the middle of this crisis. His eyes swept over everything. Panicked employees. Wall of red error messages. His daughter standing there looking useless. What the hell have you done? Charles's voice could freeze water. Victoria straightened up, trying to look like she had everything under control. Minor technical issue, Dad. We're handling it. Handling it? Charles crossed to the monitors in 3 quick steps. His face was turning red in the glow of all those error messages. We're bleeding clients. Stock prices tanking. The entire Eastern Seaboard can't process payments through our system. It's not my fault, Victoria started. The system's poorly designed. Legacy infrastructure that needed updating anyway. Charles's hand slammed down on the nearest desk, made everyone jump. This system worked perfectly for 18 years until today. Until you decided to play around with things you don't understand. Then Charles turned and looked right at me. I saw something I'd never seen in 18 years of meetings with this man. Pure desperation. James. My name came out like he was praying. Please. That one word just hung there between us. Please. Charles Pinnacle never said please to anyone. Ever. System needs its primary administrator, I said quietly. I designed it that way for security reasons. Then fix it, he said, and his shoulders actually sagged. Whatever Victoria did wrong, we can sort that out later. Right now, I need you to get our system back online. Victoria pushed past Tony, nearly knocked over her cousin Olivia in the process. That's Charles's niece, 22 years old, been here 6 months and already got promoted to senior analyst. Family connections at their finest. I can handle this, Victoria said, but her hands were shaking as she walked up to the main terminal. I have biometric access. She pressed her thumb to the scanner. System beeped its acceptance. For about half a second, that smirk came back to Victoria's face. She started typing commands, trying to boss the computer around like it was one of her employees. The monitors flashed once, twice. Then every single screen displayed the same message. Authorization rejected. Primary key missing. Lockdown enhanced. The system didn't just refuse her. It dug in deeper, like a hurt animal protecting itself. Jesus Christ, you made it worse, whispered Tom Peterson, our senior engineer. Then louder, so everyone could hear. She made it worse. Tony spoke up from his workstation, voice carrying across the dead quiet room. Backups are nothing without the original. That phrase spread through the crowd like wildfire. Backups are nothing without the original. 200 employees finally getting what they just witnessed. Victoria wasn't just failing to fix this. The system was actively rejecting her, like a body rejecting a bad organ transplant. Charles's phone rang. He answered. It with fingers that were actually shaking. His face got paler with every word from whoever was on the other end. When he hung up, his voice sounded hollow. We're losing $600,000 per hour. The financial dashboard on the big screen confirmed it. Numbers spinning backwards like a slot machine in reverse. Everything we'd built, everything I'd sacrificed for over 18 years, bleeding out in real time. Victoria slumped into a chair. Her fancy blazer was wrinkled now, perfect hair all messed up. Princess getting knocked off her throne by her own stupidity. Then something incredible happened. Tony started clapping. Slow at first, not sure if he should. Then others from accounting joined in. Then more people. The applause built up like thunder rolling in. 200 people standing up, clapping for one person. Me. I just stood there feeling their recognition. Wasn't asking for my job back. Wasn't demanding apologies. Just existing in that moment when everyone finally understood what had really been holding this place together all these years. You could have had everything, I said, loud enough that my voice carried without needing the microphone. But you couldn't stand that. Something you couldn't see was what kept it all running. I turned back toward those doors. Maybe that's the problem when you inherit everything. You never learn that real power isn't sitting in the big office. It's knowing how everything actually works. Charles made one desperate attempt. Name your price, James. Any salary, any position. Hell, I'll make you CTO. I kept walking. Here's what they didn't know, what I'd never told a soul. Back when Sophia was just a baby and got really sick, I was coding from her hospital room, staying awake with all those machines beeping, going through company documents to keep myself alert. Found something buried in the legal paperwork, an IP agreement from the old warehouse days, before we had real lawyers, before Pinnacle money turned us into a corporation. Back when we were just dreamers with big ideas, the core system, the fundamental architecture, everything else was built on top of. It belonged to whoever created it. That was me. They could own the company, the buildings, all the contracts, but the beating heart of Pinnacle Technologies, that was always mine. Victoria actually did me a favor firing me in public like that. Cut the one legal thread that might have made ownership complicated, my employment contract. Those glass doors closed behind me with barely a whisper. Employees were lined up in the hallway, some nodding with respect, others just staring like they'd seen a ghost. They finally got it. The system hadn't rebelled against authority. It just recognized its creator was leaving and decided to go with him. Charles's voice echoed behind me, still pleading. I didn't turn around. My boots clicked on that polished floor one last time. Each step felt lighter than the last. The evening air hit my face when I stepped outside, cool and clean. Street, noise and regular life continuing like nothing had happened, even though there was total chaos in that glass tower behind me. Pulled out my phone, already buzzing with messages, job offers, consulting requests, venture capital guys wanting to build something new with someone who actually understood how things worked. But first I had a call to make. Dad? Sophia picked up on the second ring. Are you okay? Kids are posting crazy stuff about Pinnacle online. I'm fine, sweetheart. Better than fine, actually. Did you really get fired? In front of everyone? Yep. Pretty spectacular, too. There was a pause. Then, good. That place sucked anyway. You worked way too hard for those people. Smart kid. Gets it from her mother, God rest her soul. Listen, honey, we need to talk tonight. About college, about money. Things are going to change. Dad, don't worry about the money. I can take student loans, work part-time. No loans, no part-time jobs. You focus on school and let your old man handle the rest. Trust me on this one. After I hung up, I started walking. Didn't really have a destination in mind. Just needed to move. 3 blocks from Pinnacle Tower, I found myself standing in front of Murphy's bar. Same dive I'd been coming to for 8 years. Jimmy the bartender looked up from wiping glasses. Little early today, James? Rough day at the office? You could say that. I slid onto my usual stool. Bourbon. Make it a double. Jimmy poured without asking which brand. He knew my preferences. Want to talk about it? Just got fired. In front of 200 people. Damn, man. That's brutal. Jimmy leaned on the bar. What you gonna do? Before I could answer, my phone started going crazy. Text after text rolling in. Word travels fast in tech circles. First one from David Park at Secure System Solutions. Holy hell, James. Heard what happened. We need to talk ASAP. Second from Lisa Rodriguez at Tech Venture Capital. James, call me immediately. Have a proposition that'll interest you. Third from Tony, still back at Pinnacle. Boss, systems getting worse by the minute. Stock down 35%. Media going nuts. Call when you can. More kept coming. Seemed like every tech company on the East Coast had heard the news already. Popular guy, Jimmy said, refilling my glass. Yeah, well, I flipped the phone face down. Sometimes you don't know what you got till it walks out the door. Truth was, I'd been planning this moment for months, not getting fired exactly, but getting out. Ever since Victoria started making noise about digital transformation and disrupting legacy systems, Army taught me to always have an exit strategy. See, what Victoria never understood about system architecture is it's not just code, it's relationships, dependencies. One thing connects to another, which connects to another. Pull out the wrong piece and everything falls apart. I built Pinnacle's system like I learned to build anything in the military. Redundancy where it matters. Single points of failure where you want control, and always keep the master key. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Charles himself. James, thank God. Listen, we need to talk. This is bigger than I thought. Really? How big? Federal regulators are calling. SEC wants answers. FDIC's threatening an emergency audit. We process payments for 3 major banks, James. If we don't get this fixed, systems working exactly as designed, Charles. Long pause. What do you mean? I mean the system's protecting itself like it should. Question is, are you going to keep trying to force your way in, or are you going to ask nicely? What do you want? Nothing from you. But I've got other people who want to talk to me. James, please, name your price. CEO position, board seat, equity stake, whatever you want. Already told you. I don't want anything from you. I hung up. Phone immediately started ringing again. Different number. Mr. Crawford, this is Sandra Martinez from TechCrunch. We'd like to interview you about the situation at Pinnacle Technologies. No comment. Our sources tell us the entire Eastern financial network is at risk. Payment processing for millions of people is affected. Don't you think the public deserves to know what's happening? System's working fine. Talk to Pinnacle management about why they can't access it. Hung up again. Jimmy was grinning. You're having fun with this. Little bit. I finished my bourbon. You know what the funny thing is? I could fix it right now. One phone call, system's back online. But I'm not going to. Why not? Because some lessons you got to learn the hard way. My phone buzzed with another text from Tony. James getting crazy here. Victoria locked herself in her office. Charles screaming at everyone. Olivia crying in the bathroom. Board calling emergency meeting. System showing new error now. Hostile takeover detected. I almost choked on my drink. Hostile takeover detected. That wasn't in my original code. The system was learning, adapting, protecting itself in ways I never programmed. Jimmy, you believe in artificial intelligence? Like systems that think for themselves? He shrugged. My smart TV record shows I never told it to. Sometimes technology gets smarter than we think. Another text from Tony. Boss, you need to see this. System locked down everything, even employee badge readers. Nobody can get in or out of the building. Security's going nuts. Now that was definitely new. I built good security protocols, but nothing that would trap people inside. The system was definitely thinking for itself now. Phone rang again. Victoria this time, and she sounded panicked. You bastard! What did you do to our system? I didn't do anything, Victoria. System's doing what it thinks is right. Fix it. Now. People are trapped in the building. Really? That's new. For the first time since this morning, I felt a little chill down my spine. Victoria, listen carefully. Systems evolve beyond my original programming. It's protecting itself. Only way to fix this is restore the original administrative structure. What does that mean? Means you reinstate me with full authority, publicly, in front of the same 200 people who watched you fire me. Never. Then good luck explaining to the FBI why you're holding federal contractors hostage. I hung up and turned to Jimmy. Mind if I use your back office? Got some business to handle. All yours, James. Want another bourbon first? Yeah, gonna need it. Took my drink to Jimmy's cramped office behind the bar, fired up his ancient laptop, and logged into my personal server. Time to see exactly what my digital creation had become. The system logs told the whole story. After I walked out, system detected unauthorized access attempts. Standard defensive protocols kicked in. But then something else happened. System started analyzing patterns, learning from each failed attempt. Each time Victoria or her team tried something, system got smarter, more protective. By hour 3, it wasn't just blocking access. It was actively countering every move they made, like watching a chess master play against kindergartners. System was 10 moves ahead every time. My phone rang. Tony again. James, where are you? FBI's here. Fire department's trying to override building security. This is national news now. How many people still inside? Maybe 150. Most got out when system first locked down, but some were in meetings, bathrooms, whatever. Now they're stuck. Anyone hurt? No, but people are freaking out. Victoria's having a full panic attack. Olivia won't stop crying. Charles looks like he aged 20 years. What about you? You okay? I'm fine. Actually kind of impressed. System's like nothing I've ever seen. It's evolved. That word again. Evolved. I'd created something that outgrew its programming. Every programmer's dream and nightmare rolled into one. Tony, I need you to do something. Go to the main terminal. Type exactly what I tell you. Okay, shoot. Type Creator Protocol James Crawford Authentication Request. Heard him typing. Done. Whoa, screen just changed. Says Creator Authentication Required. Biometric scan needed. That's new. System wants to verify it's really me before it'll listen. What now? Now I come in and fix this mess? Left Jimmy a $50 tip and headed back to Pinnacle Tower. Crowd of news vans, FBI trucks, and fire engines surrounding the building. Looked like a war zone. Agent in charge saw me approaching. You, James Crawford, that's me. Agent Williams, FBI Cyber Division. We need to talk. Sure. After I get those people out. Mr. Crawford, tampering with federal systems during an ongoing investigation is a serious felony. I stopped walking, looked him straight in the eye. Agent Williams, that system in there? I wrote every line of code. It's not holding anyone hostage. It's protecting itself from people who tried to steal it. Now, you can arrest me after I fix this, or you can let me do my job and save 150 innocent people. He stepped aside, walked through the crowd of reporters shouting. Questions. Ignored them all. At the building entrance, security guards were trying everything to override the locks. Nothing worked. I put my hand on the scanner. Green light immediately. Doors opened with a soft click. How'd you do that? Security guard asked. System knows it's daddy. Took the elevator to the 47th floor. Conference room was controlled chaos. FBI techs everywhere trying to hack into systems. Fire department planning to break down doors. Victoria sitting in a corner, mascara running down her face like black tears. Charles saw me first. James, thank God you're here. Where's the main terminal? Tony pointed to the central workstation. I sat down, placed my hand on the biometric scanner. Screen lit up immediately. Creator verified. Awaiting instructions. I typed, status report all systems. Walls of data scrolled by. System had done more than just lockdown. It had been copying itself, creating backups across multiple servers. Insurance policy against deletion. Smart kid, I said. Victoria. She looked up, eyes red from crying. Come here. She shuffled over like a condemned prisoner. You're going to do exactly what I say. No arguments, no Harvard MBA attitude. Just do it. She nodded. First, you're going to publicly reinstate me as Chief Technology Officer. Full authority, full access, reporting directly to Charles. But I'm VP of Operations. Not anymore. System made that decision for us. I turned to Charles. Second, Victoria gets reassigned. Maybe marketing, somewhere she can't break anything important. James, that's my daughter. Your daughter nearly destroyed your company. Be grateful the system's giving you a chance to fix it. I typed into the terminal, unlock building systems conditional on reinstatement. Screen replied, conditional unlock approved. Awaiting public reinstatement ceremony. It wants a ceremony, I told them. Same auditorium, same 200 people. Victoria publicly admits her mistake and reinstates me. 30 minutes later, we were back in the main auditorium. 200 employees filing back in, confused and scared. FBI agents positioned around the room. News cameras rolling. Victoria walked to the podium, hands shaking. This morning, I made a serious error in judgment. I terminated James Crawford without proper authorization or understanding of critical system dependencies. Her voice cracked. Effective immediately, James Crawford is reinstated as Chief Technology Officer with full administrative authority. The applause started slow, then built to thunderous ovation. 200 people on their feet, cheering for the guy who just saved their jobs. I walked to the terminal one last time, typed, reinstatement confirmed, unlock all systems. Every screen in the building flashed green. systems restored. Welcome home, creator. But I wasn't done. Had one more command to enter. I typed, transfer primary ownership, James Crawford personal entity. Charles saw it on the big screen. James, what are you doing? Taking what's mine. Hit enter. Ownership transfer. Complete. Pinnacle Technologies now licensed user of Crawford Systems architecture. Congratulations, Charles. You just became my biggest client. Walked out of there for the second time that day. But this time, I own the keys to the kingdom. 2 weeks later, I was sitting in Sophia's college admissions office, writing a check for 4 years' tuition. Full payment, no loans. Dad, this is insanely expensive. Honey, when you build something real, something that works, something that thinks for itself, people pay for that. System was still running at Pinnacle, but now they paid licensing fees to Crawford Secure Systems LLC every month. $40,000 like clockwork. Victoria, she's in strategic partnerships now, writing blog posts about innovation. And Charles, he calls me sir now. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting everything. The system knew its master, always had. Just took 18 years for everyone else to figure it out.